Did you know that the Tor project is controlled by the CIA? Yeah, I'm not very comfortable with that.
Wasn't Tor made by the US Navy?
Oh my God!
Not specifically the Navy, but it is a general tool made by the public sector. Think tax-paid government services like the military or road infrastructure.
Hooray!
In order to allow the government to look at websites without being monitored by IP addresses, which requires allowing the public to access the same network in order to actually make it truly anonymous, it was specifically made to benefit the government, so anything else is an afterthought. Just to put it in perspective, the original intention of the internet, ARPANET, was specifically created by the public sector because the private sector, think ultra-rich capitalist Elon Musk buying Twitter, was uninterested in doing such an unprofitable project, and a heavily connected network would easily allow the sharing of information between long distances. It was only after infrastructure was already built stable did companies like AOL sprung to completely privatize the internet when it became profitable. Capitalism does not encourage innovation, as its only goal is to use machinery in order to infinitely increase the profits of the ultra-rich.
Shut up!
Humanitarian services like funding non-biased research, free housing, and universal healthcare are not profitable, so the capitalist would rather watch people die than give just a tiny amount of money.
You need to leave!
You can stop reading here if you don't want a more unrelated political insight since I've answered your question. An unrelated political insight. Palantir is an egregious example of a company being a direct manufacturer of tools made specifically for the government to spy on people.
Oh, hell no!
Palantir allows the government to spy on protesters and use ICE to be able to imprison and deport any forces that might overthrow the violent upper class. The capitalist and bureaucrat shake hands in order to fulfill classical liberalism through any means possible, which, demonstrated by the USA's current administration, is facilitated by fascism.
What?
Huh?
As if the bureaucrats get rid of labor laws that benefit the worker and not tax the ultra-rich, the capitalist can make and hoard more money. And if the capitalist works to help aid the military in global domination, it can turn the conquered nation into factory land.
Huh?
Where the helpless workers can slave away, their capitalist steals their natural resources, like oil or rare minerals using computer chips. Liberalism seeks to deregulate the capitalist, of which the regulations prevent earth-destroying behaviors like using fossil fuels. And libertarianism is the ultimate form of both economic and social degradation. The only solution to this chaos is to completely destroy capitalism and replace it with communism.
What?
Marxist theory proves that in order for a new political system to succeed, it must completely destroy the old system, much like what capitalism did to feudalism. And that with each new system, they act completely differently than the one before it. When the Western media complains that China is authoritarian, they are intentionally spreading disinformation about their actual democratic system because they still want capitalist control over the world. China gives vague policy to allow each province below the CCP to interpret and enact upon the general guidelines they were given. but ultimately respond to the party. Well, Western media is constantly lying through their teeth about censorship. They lack understanding that China feels personally responsible for not spreading misinformation and blocks net newspaper sources that habitually contain false information. China focuses on long-term 5-year plans, which often strives to improve the economic and social conditions for all people of China, including universal healthcare, free housing, and well-funded public schools and universities. The USA is certainly lax in this long-term thinking and long-term economic strategy making because it ultimately values the private interest of capital over a healthy and prospering society.